pretty much at the same
And we've been
clip.
listening as President Trump there in the Rose Garden, right there at the White House, announcing major tariffs, taking the opportunity to bash countries around the world and former presidents in this country for the past 50 years for allowing what he calls horrendous imbalances in trade and in tariffs. And so, starting very soon, he is getting ready to impose tariffs on foreign cars and parts, 25% from anywhere. And then he's also announcing 10% at least tariffs on all countries. And then what he calls the worst offenders, the bigger tariffs, they're going to be 34% for China, India 26%, Japan 24%, the EU 20%. Taiwan, 32%. He promised this would be big. It has gotten a lot of people's attention. Let's go to Weijia Jiang at the White House. He called this a national emergency, Weijia. Can you put this into some kind of context for us?
Yeah, Maurice, so this was the president's very first event during his second term in the Rose Garden, which speaks to just how important this is to him. He got all the pomp and circumstance. He was surrounded by members of his cabinet. And of course, he brought in workers from the steel and automobile industry to make his case, Maurice, that this is going to be what he calls the golden age of America. Because his theory is that if you tack on these tariffs to imports into America, well, companies here don't want to pay that. And so they are going to boost manufacturing. They are going to buy American and not want to pay the rates that you are seeing on your screen, Maurice. Now, what we did not know is exactly what countries would be impacted and the rate. And we know now that the administration used a formula to calculate what they are calling the total sum of all unfair trade practices. Now, that includes currency manipulation, tariff barriers, and of course, what these countries charge on American exports. So you can see here for China as the top example, 67%. Half of that is 34%, because President Trump says he wants to be, quote, kind to the world. So he is not going to impose the full 100% tit for tat, but 50% of that sum. And in addition to that, Maurice, it's important to note that what we were not expecting today was a 10% tariff on all countries. So whether, they are a part of this worst offenders group, as the administration calls, or not, there will be a 10% tariff. And of course, it's notable, I think, that he's making this announcement after the closing bell. We have been reporting for so many weeks, Maurice, about how the uncertainty of this has already rattled the stock market and certainly consumer confidence. So as we take all of this in, it'll be critical to watch the response, not only here, but globally.
Okay, Weijia Jiang at the White House, you are absolutely right. It is a big bet. And joining me now is Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady. Kelly, we're getting reaction in after-hours trading. It's key to note that he did this after the markets closed at 4 o'clock. So what's the reaction you're seeing, and what are people going to have to deal with going forward?
Yeah, Weijia was very, very right to note that. So I was just looking at a couple of the companies that really rely on that global supply chain. So they are relying on countries like China and Taiwan. NVIDIA, right? Big AI stock.
Huge.
That's one of them. They get all their chips from Taiwan. So when you've got a 32% tariff being charged there, that is why the stock is down. Apple also, where do we get our iPhones from? China. Big tariff on that. And so that's why you're seeing the after hours trading go down. 3 takeaways that I want to give you. One is how investors are going to react going forward. Because, maybe this is just a little blip we're seeing in after hours trading. Maybe. But uncertainty has been the word of this quarter along with tariffs. And so we haven't heard from the president in his speech today that this is the end. He has sort of teased in the past, maybe pharmaceuticals, lumber. I think you might see more investor skittishness if there's
uncertainty, right?
Yes, exactly. Also, you have companies that are probably going to have to invest billions of dollars in manufacturing here in the U.S. For investors, that's not a short-term good thing for the bottom line. There's undeniable benefits long-term, a global supply chain being here, more American jobs, but investors are worried about the short term. You also mentioned consumers.
The everyday person looking at this Oh my gosh.
Exactly. What's
These are
going
numbers
on
being
Main
thrown
Street?
around all over the place.
Right.
What does it mean to everyday people?
Well, one, it's going to likely scare people, right? And we've already seen that in some of the consumer sentiment data that we've talked about, that people have cited anxiety about what tariffs could do to prices. You hear numbers like this, very curious to see reaction from consumers in those next surveys, how they're feeling about it. The real impact, though, is going to be in prices. If companies decide to pass that massive import tax on, that they are paying, by the way, not the countries on, prices are going to go higher. And the final thing that I want to note is what happens to the economy, because let's pull this all together. And weirdly enough, I'm going to ask for a chart that our lovely control team just pulled up, because this shows how Wall Street sees the pains that Main Street could have. There are a couple of dates on here. We never saw the biggest drops on days where there were tariff announcements. We saw them on the days where there were consumer confidence and it was deteriorating or inflation was negative. And so when you put this all together, you could have a growth problem, and that's where investors and consumers are going to be watching.
One more quick point. He talks about how this is going to bring manufacturing back to the United States. Does that happen overnight?
It does not. It does not. It takes years. It takes billions of dollars.
We'll keep an eye on that. Okay, Kelly, thank you so much. Let us go now to CBS News senior business and technology correspondent Ling Kent. Ling, big question here. How's all of this going to be actually implemented?
Maurice, we didn't have a lot of clarity when it comes to implementation, but President Trump did say this, that he wants to be, quote, very severe on the people that at the gate that watch the tariffs and watch the product coming in. And that's a quote. He also went on to say there are a lot of bad things that happen at the people that do the check-in, and he mentioned sort of a vague reference to 10-year jail sentences. But look, what we do know so far, according to our reporters at the White House, is that sources are telling CBS News that Trump is considering putting together what they're calling the External Revenue Service, basically a play on the IRS. And the idea would be to collect tariffs and duties and all the revenue that the Trump administration says they want to bring in. They've said in the past, last week, $100 billion would be brought in from the auto tariffs. They have not really said more. But I will say I've been hearing from sources across the industries. UAW President Shawn Fain just texted me and said he likes what he sees in these tariffs, still going through the details, but wants to get more manufacturing back up and going in places like Warren, Michigan, and Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Okay, Ling Kent, thank you so much. Let's bring in Face the Nation moderator and Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent Margaret Brennan. Margaret, I imagine this is a shot heard around the world. What are they saying in capitals around the world as far as you can hear right now?
Well, Maurice, they were all watching this because the diplomats I spoke to said we have no clarity, we have no specifics, we have no insight into the president in terms of what he is going to roll out. And we didn't get a lot of that, frankly, other than that one chart breaking down some of the countries that will have certain tariffs put on them. The president mentioned 60 or so, but we know when he was describing things like a value-added tax, there are 177 countries in the world that use that. So do all of those also get tariffs? We don't know. But bottom line here, Maurice, the president is really placing a massive political bet, risking the very thing that got him elected. That is the economy. He truly believes, as he described in that speech, that there were glory days in this country, specifically the late 1800s, where he thinks we need to look to now for inspiration as to how to make America wealthy again. That's the phrase he uses. There has been a lot that has changed in the global economy since then. He's essentially trying to unplug us from the global supply chain. This will have implications for consumers in terms of how much they pay for goods that are foreign made. It was interesting in our latest CBS News poll, we saw about 56% of Americans oppose taxes on foreign made goods. That's essentially what a tariff is. So we will have to see if this political bet does what the president says it will do, which is somehow reshape America quickly to bring jobs and manufacturing back here, without actually disrupting the strength of the American economy. And right now that strength is in places like innovation, in technology, in new development, not the manufacturing jobs that the president has says he wants to claw back from cheaper markets like those in Asia. Also really interesting, and I'll leave it here, Maurice, he talked about doing these things to punish countries for things like currency manipulation. There is a global system, a World Trade Organization, the IMF, that the U.S. has dominated, that global system since World War II. He's essentially saying, I don't trust it. I'm going to do this on my own.
Yes, and I think you hit it right on the head when you said this is a massive bet. Margaret, thank you so much for that. Thanks to all of our correspondents here.